perhaps even more disturbing tonight, a report out of Indiana. You may have seen this on The Factor. Wait until you hear where we're taking the story. The reports suggest that demons took over a family in their home. And Trace Gallagher has the details. Trace?
And Megan, the comparisons to the Amityville are notable because it was just days after the Ammon family moved into their house. They say the horror began, the black flies swarming, children being levitated, shadowy figures pacing the house. Here's the mother. Listen.
And I saw one like coming into full image. It was coming out of my closet. I've never seen it like that before. I would see the shadows, you know, but I've never seen it like how I'm looking at you and you're looking at me.
The family sought help, but between the horror stories, the kids missing school and being injured, the family doctor and child services got involved, with child services pointing the finger at mom, writing, quote, they believe the mother may have mental health concerns. They believe the children are performing for the mother and that she's encouraging the behavior. Then child services witnessed something that changed their view. The 9-year-old boy thrown against the wall with no one touching him. Then they write, quote, he had a weird grin on his face and began to walk backwards while the grandmother was holding his hand. He walked up the wall backwards. He flipped over and landed on his feet in front of the grandmother and sat down in the chair. Police also thought the story was a hoax until they went to the house and saw blinds dripping with oil and water where there was no source, and a mysterious figure in a window when no one was home. 37-year police veteran Captain Charles Austin saying, quote, every one of us who was there that day in the basement and who saw what we saw, we all think the same. We call it the same. That bit of dirt is a portal to hell. The family called a local priest, Father Michael Maginot, who was convinced demons had possessed the mother. He tried to contact the demons through 3 exorcisms. Here's the priest.
It was pretty much without incident until we get to the part of your name, and you asked for its name. Now, so far, she's always been silent. So, and I said, is your name whatever? And then all of a sudden, she started convulsing and such. So now, once you have a name, you kind of attack it.
And after she convulsed, he believes the exorcism in the end was successful. Megan.
Trace, thank you. Joining us now, the reporter with the Indianapolis Star who wrote the initial story and conducted more than a dozen interviews on it. Marissa Kwiatkowski is with me now. Marissa, good to see you. Let me start with this. After all the interviews you did of independent third-party witnesses and so on, do you believe the story?
It's not my job to believe or disbelieve this story. I will leave that to others.
It's not your job, but what do you think? I'm asking you. I mean, were you persuaded at all?
It's not my job to be persuaded either way. My job is to report the facts as they were told to me and to let people draw their own conclusions, and I wrote it that way deliberately.
Well, let me ask you this. You've got a police captain saying he believes. Did you interview the people who claim to have seen the boy walking backwards up the wall?
I interviewed the registered nurse who witnessed or says he witnessed the boy walking backward up the wall. I did not interview the Department of Child Services caseworker. However, I had her report from that incident.
And did she claim to see it as well?
She claimed to see it as well, yes.
Do you have any reason to doubt their accounts? I mean, as a reporter, you always go in skeptical.
I think they believe it, yes.
Is there any reason that you uncovered to doubt them? In other words, any history of their relationship with the truth, any performance complaints, that kind of thing?
Good question. No, there weren't any sorts of situations that gave me pause. People in credible positions doing typical work and, nothing to report. How
many eyewitnesses were there to the so-called possessed behavior other than the mother? Because, the mother may or may not have had issues. There was a psychologist saying she's got some issues and the kids are basically performing for her. How many people outside of the family who were verifying these accounts?
You mean in the hospital or outside of the hospital?
Anybody outside of the family.
It would take me a bit of time to count, but at least 5 or 6 people who say they witnessed things that were strange.
Is there any audio or visual?
There are not audio or visual representations of the boy walking up the wall or the levitation. There are photos of things that police saw while they were in the home, but nothing, you know, no demons or paranormal or anything like that.
All right, we'll continue to follow it. Thanks for bringing it to our attention, Marissa. All the best.
This is a video clip from the Portal to Hell video, and there is a face on the woodwork. In just a second, I'll put up a thing here. This is a little slice with a bunch of different filters on it, and I'll show that to you in just a second. And we will look at this face that appears. That was the place the social worker touched in the Portal to Hell video, and it froze her finger. Now this is a bunch of slices of the woodwork there, and you can see the edge of the blinds. Now this is circling that face. It looks like two faces in that red area, but that's many different filters on it. Just a little small sliver, just the wood and the edge of the blinds there. Now this is a picture taken from a monitor in a hospital, and I do not know what this thing is. It looks like way too many legs. It kind of looks like someone holding someone, like something jumped up on the bed and picked a kid up. But I put a bunch of different filters on it, sharpened it. Now look what it almost looks like: alien eyes and horns on this creature. and you can see just too many legs going on. What is it? So anyway, this is another picture of a blown up section of a face. And you'll see that I'll put some different filters on it here. Try to sharpen it up. I sharpen it and use several different things that I have to sharpen pictures. And you can see the face right there. I put filters on it and I tweak them around, trying to bring that out the best I can. And saturation, mess with that some, and I tweak it right here to where it overdoes the main part of the picture, but that's in the shadow, so I had to change it to where interesting. Alrighty, thank you very much. Comment, tell me what you think.